Hey there, I'm Nour.
And I'm Roedah, and this is BOGO, the podcast with 2 rotating segments for the price of 1.
That's right. Every week, you'll get an episode of Chapter Chit Chat, our cozy, unfiltered book talk where we read excerpts and spiral into deep discussion.
You'll also get an episode of Almost Experts, which we're doing today. This is the part of the show where we react to your stories, spicy dilemmas, existential meltdowns,
and respond with our most sincere, absolutely unqualified opinions. Think of us as your internet sisters. Part Gen Z,
part millennial,
all opinions,
0 related credentials. Whether you're here. Today's not the day. Okay. Whether you're here for an opinion or just want to feel better about your own situation,
you're in the right place.
Let's get into it.
So, first up, what happens when a story starts with love and ends in an ick? Let's get into it. I, 40 female, and my husband, 40 male, have been together since high school. We have built a financially stable and respectful relationship. He's a great father and a role model to our young children. He does equal share around the house, like laundry, cooking, parenting, etc. Over the past 3 to 5 years, I'm continuously finding him less and less attractive. We've been to counseling together over this, and we've had many peaceful conversations, but nothing seems to improve from my perspective. I'm going to list a few examples, and before Reddit jumps on me saying these things are stupid, please understand we've been together for a long time, and all the little things eventually snowball into big things. He forgets about 70% of our conversations. I'm having to give him receipts on everything we've talked about. He snores while awake, literally.
Hold on, that might be a cause for concern, not for disgust. Okay.
Oh my god. His face and hair smell so bad to me. To me anyways. I'm pretty sure it's just his bodily oils. I'm getting a lot of imagery that I don't want to get right now.
It's like, wow. That's visceral.
When he wants attention, he gets really immature. And starts talking in a baby. When he wants attention, he gets really immature and starts talking in a baby voice. He leaves boogers. Mind you, he's 40 years old. And skin flakes in and around the sink. I could go on with more examples, but let's not keep you here forever. We've talked about every single one of these things and more. If there could be a medical issue, he's been to a doctor. Everything is fixable, but it's not being fixed. I know I'm not perfect, but these things seem to irritate me to my core. I feel like screaming at the top of my lungs, bashing my head through a wall. That's dramatic, but I feel desperate. This cannot be the rest of my life. How do I get over this, or what can we further do so we can live happily the rest of our lives? I don't think she's being dramatic. I'm not saying she should leave, but like the level of
this is an issue that needs to be fixed.
How do you feel about this? How do you feel
if you leave boogers on my sink and you didn't wipe them off, I'm only going to talk to you once about this. After that, don't use my sink. If you have to pay for your own space to not keep clean, do that.
Yeah.
She mentions that he did well as like a partner in the sense of like sharing responsibilities around the home, parenting. Can he be responsible for his own being? And do they have to revisit like expectations around hygiene? Because it sounds like it's related to like hygiene and taking care of the self, and like perhaps, you know, he's doing well in every other area in life and neglecting himself. Is there something more than like a physical health issue? Is there possibly some sort of like mental root here? I don't know. Is there a question? Is it like, oh, how do I get over it? Yeah. Have they done marital counseling? You know, like she mentioned, so we've gone to the doctor. These problems are fixable.
She did add in an edit. Okay. She says, this is really blowing up and I'm thankful for everyone's comments. I think a lot of us are finding community and can resonate with one another. Even in the disagreements, there's quite a bit of valuable information. There's a lot of actionable items I'm considering as I plan my next move. More medical checkups and specialist appointments, therapy, HRT, big girl conversations, etc. My balls are up in the air and I will come back to do an update once I have the ducks in a row.
Okay, so there's some comments. One person asked, why only the last 3 to 5 years is this irritating you? You've been together so much longer. How did his behavior suddenly change? Or did something change with you? And the OP says, we had kids later in life. As two young single people, we had always just had fun and not a lot bothered us. Throw kids into the mix and everything got flipped upside down. I was the primary caregiver to our kids, staying home with them for 5 years, and it's only been the last 3 to 5 years that I'm back in my life outside of the home, and all of this irritates me now. Was the balance of her staying home better for their relationship? Was she happier then? Like, I do wonder.
Like, even if kids get thrown into the mix, why are you picking your nose? You know what I mean? Like, I get life changes.
Does he just pick his nose?
I mean, she said he leaves boogers everywhere.
In and around the sink. So maybe he blows his nose in the sink. Which doesn't mean it's okay. Like, clean it off after.
Yeah.
But
okay.
that much I didn't envision a 40-year-old man with his finger up his. That's what I thought.
Wait, I'm kind of confused. She says, I was a primary caregiver to our kids, staying home with them for 5 years. It's only been the past 3 to 5 years that I'm back to my life outside the home. And all of this irritates me now. So she was staying at home with them, and then now she like works.
Mm-hmm. And only after she started working again did everything irritate her. So like she's clearly going through a lot. Like she took a break from work and was taking care of the kids. She wasn't complaining then. When she returned to work, like has the balance in their relationship changed? And is that also adding additional stress? Because sometimes when you are extremely stressed out about certain things, it can cause you to like notice and or nitpick. And perhaps these issues were issues with him the entire have gone unnoticed for quite some time. But now that she's maybe more stressed or dealing with a lot more, she hasn't said that she's no longer the primary caregiver. It's just now they're of school age, so she can work during those hours. And perhaps when she goes home, she's still doing the same work she was doing before. So like there are questions about how is that labor divided? Is she taking on more than like she feels is fair, and or is she just burnt out? Yeah. Especially with women, like she's how old are 40. Your health changes as you age, like she could be going through a lot herself. I think she has every right to be annoyed about certain things. Like if she wants him to change something, she should have those big girl conversations and not to make demands, but like, can we meet in the middle somewhere? Like this is affecting how I see you and I don't want it to because I love you. You're my partner. I've committed to you. We have a family together. Can we work on this? Is there something that I need to work on for you? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a conversation best had with like a third party in therapy or something, but I don't think she's necessarily wrong to be bothered. It's interesting that it's been so long in their relationship, at which point it's now coming up.
I feel like one of the core issues in the marriage is skewed, which, I mean, these things can be financial issues, intimacy issues, family issues. And I feel like one must be off and needs, like, this can't be the root of the problem, if either he had really poor hygiene throughout the whole marriage and she was okay with it up until now, or he had okay hygiene and then at some point something went wrong. And so I think, like you said, therapy is a good option to kind of delve into the deeper root cause of this issue, because if you solve the root cause, all of these small little annoyances go away.
Yeah. Someone else asked, the OP, a commenter asked, do you think he's still in love with you? Have you talked about it? And she replied, we do. He loves me so much, and I love him too. But my love feels like it's changing. Whereas his love is still in the relative plane of romantic love. That's what makes it really hard for me to work through. If we both fell out at the same time, we'd be amazing co-parents and have the healthiest relationship possible for our kids. But it's definitely one-sided. And if I actually ended my marriage because of this, it'd be devastating. Is this like I'm so sorry to say this, but is this a classic case of like boys mature later than girls?
40?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying like that just makes it sound like that. Like, yeah. Oh, I'm past the honeymoon phase and he's still stuck in it. That's what that sounds like. I know, like 10 plus years later.
I don't know.
She has a big update. Do you want to share it? I think it's a little further down, but it's a really long one.
Okay. So her update is, first, thank you to everyone who commented and took the time to share insight. I read as much as I could. As a newbie Redditor, it was pretty overwhelming. Just a few of my own comments. I do recognize I'm in perimenopause. I'll be talking to my doctor about this. Even though the rage boils my entire being, I still remember how to be gentle, kind, and empathetic. I was never a raging bee towards him like a few suggested. I'm more forceful with my tone to truly get my message across. As many of you pointed out in the comments, I've let a lot slide in the past, which is how I've gotten here. So perimenopause rage is actually emboldening me to be more assertive. My annoyance is amplified, but his behavior is still unacceptable. He doesn't have ADHD. That's actually me. LOL. Unless mine is so bad, he looks neurotypical. LOL. He has gained weight over the past few years. He's not obese, but he's been an athlete the majority of his life. And so the extra 50 to 70 pounds is probably a lot for him and is causing a lot of the issues. The hygiene issues will have to be discussed another day. Based on what happened tonight, I don't think he could have handled it. What happened?
I guess we'll see.
Okay.
So she says she'll make... Okay, sorry, I can continue. I will be making skincare suggestions, but will not be purchasing things for him. He's a grown man and can do that himself. I've been proactive to make sure I'm taking care of myself as I age. I don't need to be making sure his doctor appointments and buying him his skincare. And the baby voice thing. I'll just keep telling him it's deeply unattractive and honestly gross, and I will not be having any intimacy with a man who chooses to talk to me like that. I'm happy to answer any more questions, but as the sub only lets me to do one update, I guess this is it. To the update, tonight we were relaxing in bed and I began by saying, have you ever considered getting tested for sleep apnea? He says apprehensively, yes, I have, and waited for me to continue. I said, I've been doing some research and I'm wondering if maybe you have it because of the snoring while being wide awake. He said he would like to try exercise first because he knows that's where a lot of his breathing problems stem from. I continued by saying, it's not just the snoring, but if it's a lack of oxygen, maybe that would explain the weak memory. He continued to say he knows that he has a thick neck and wants to try working out first. I stayed quiet for a long time after this. Eventually, I said, You've been saying you want to exercise for a long time, and it hasn't happened. It's fine that you want to get back into shape, but I'm more concerned about the lack of memory, and I can't wait around for you to find time to work out. I feel like I can't have meaningful conversations with you. I can't trust you're going to remember them. And he just kept going back to the exercise solution. So I said, I'm grasping at solutions to present to you, hoping you'll consider them or one of them to improve this. This is a you thing now, and I can't do it for you. I've been giving you suggestions for a while, and now including getting tested for sleep apnea. Choose what you want to do or not, but I can't live like this anymore. He was quiet for a long time, and it was pretty obvious he wasn't really understanding the full scope of it. So I continued to say that I don't have a partner I can trust to have any type of conversation with, because there's no guarantee that he'll remember. I try to have mindless conversations about plans that we have or about the kids, and when he proves again that he can't remember, it makes me feel even more alone. I told him, I can't have a partner where I can't connect with or feel I can share important things with, knowing I'll be disappointed and let down later. He tried to deflect by asking how often I thought this was happening. Let me tell you, if I was a violent person, now is about the time I would have ripped his eyeballs out. He seriously was not understanding the severity of this. I said, it happens enough that I try to give you a little, but when you forget, I'm reminded all over again that you do this often enough. I'm angry all the time about it. That's how often you forget. If you need that indicator. He acknowledged this. I asked him if he noticed the majority of our conversations over the past few years happen over text. I told him this is because I think if it's in writing, then at least he can go back and reread and remind himself. This is why I don't want to talk to him in person anymore. He deflected again by saying he thought we texted more because the kids aren't around and it's easier to focus and have conversations that way. He thought I wasn't talking to him in person because I'd rather be on my phone or reading. I told him I do those things because I don't want to talk to him in person. I finally said he needs to figure out everything because I can't live like this. It's lonely and isolating. I can't talk about anything from silly, meaningless things to more serious issues. I need a partner who's stepping up for me and who wants to have an integrated life. When I feel disconnected from him, it seeps into every other aspect of our relationship, and there's no connection happening anywhere because of this. I reminded him to choose what solution he wants to explore, but I won't provide any more suggestions. This is a him thing to fix now, and if it doesn't get figured out, I don't know if I can survive the relationship. I left it at that. He rolled over and didn't say anything. So I guess the decision is on him now. I hope my message was clear. I don't know if he'll actually pursue anything, but I know if nothing changes, I'm done with this marriage. I truly didn't know or realize how lonely I felt until I was trying to express that to him tonight.
Because I know, like, if you have a really traumatic experience, it can result in memory loss and just, I don't know, because...
Or like an unchecked injury, anything really, yeah. Like, she's talking about how lonely she's feeling, and he's been in this, like, bubble where he thought everything was dandy for so long. I really hope that they give it a try. Like, I don't want to see them fail themselves in their relationship. Like, I really hope. Like, I understand taking the step to regain her sense of independence and not relying on somebody for that companionship, but also I hope he can step up to the plate in whatever way she's seeking, and I hope that they're able to find the support they need. I do feel like you're on the right, like, inkling. I think
it's something psychological.
Yeah, something a lot deeper.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope. Yeah, that's really hard. That's why I was saying like therapy would really, really help. Especially if it's been years and she's only now being bothered by it. Like, it's also kind of gonna blindside him. Like, hey, I've been like this whole time, and now you're mad, you know.
But she did say she did bring it up before.
Yeah.
No, but I understand.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the next one is from the Am I Overreacting Reddit. Actually, no. It's from the Let's Not Meet Reddit, which is a little creepier. But the title is, Am I Overreacting or Is My Mailman Creepy? So this is going to be long. Sorry in advance. I, 23 female, have lived alone in a decently nice apartment in a nice neighborhood for 2 years now. For the most part, the mail gets delivered to the mailboxes at the front entrance of the building. Occasionally, packages are delivered straight to the apartment doors, and it's pretty convenient. Well, about a year ago, I was home from work during the day because I took the afternoon off to go to a doctor's appointment. The doorbell rang, and I have a Ring camera, so I saw it was the mailman, and I answered. I have this whole exchange on video. He was maybe in his 30s, white, short, like 5'5", very large glasses, really disheveled hair. I opened the door, smiled, and said, "Thanks so much," and went to take the package. He stopped and stared at me like something was wrong, so I said, "Oh, sorry, did you need to take a picture of the delivery or something?" And to my surprise, he said, "I know you. I've seen you before." And you can see on the camera, my face changes. My body demeanor gets uncomfortable, and I move behind the door. I said, "I'm sorry, I don't think we've met." I went to shut the door, but he raises his voice and takes a step forward and said, "I've seen your name on your mail. I found you on Instagram." My face went white and I froze. "Me?" I said. I was kind of like a deer in headlights. And he said, "Yeah, you're a person of interest on Instagram for me. Your account was private, but you're pretty."
And her account was private?
I said thanks and slammed the door, locking it quickly. I was happy to know I caught the whole thing on video. I showed it to my then boyfriend, who agreed it was weird. A few days later, on Saturday, he's back at my door. He rang the bell about 10 times, waiting a few minutes, just staring. I answered him through the doorbell and said, "Hi, you can just leave my mail, thanks." What he said next made me shake. He said, "I actually don't have any mail for you today. I just wanted to say hi. Can I come in for a glass of water?" I decided to just not answer. TBH, I didn't know what to say. But then 2 weeks go by. My then boyfriend stayed the night and slept in. I left early for work. I get a call around 10:30 from my boyfriend, and I won't believe what just happened, and I check the camera. I do. The mailman came. He rang the bell a few times and my boyfriend answered the door. The mailman took a step back and my boyfriend stood for a moment and they stared at each other. He realized the mailman didn't have anything in his hands. He said, "Can I help you?" The mailman said, "Where's the small girl who lives here?" By the way, I'm pretty petite. I'm slightly under 5 foot, 100 pounds. My boyfriend was stunned and said, "I live here too. From now on, leave our packages downstairs," and slammed the door. I was really happy he said that because truthfully, he didn't live with me at the time, maybe just 2 nights a week. It seemed to work. I didn't see the mailman again at all, actually. My then boyfriend and I broke up a few months ago. I completely forgot about the mailman until today. I was entering my building where he was exiting at the same time I was entering. He stared at me and I went to walk by. He turned to walk after me and said, "Hey, I haven't seen that guy in a while who used to live with you. Did he move out?" I panicked and walked faster, grabbing my keys, but I lied and said, "Oh, he's around." And as I entered quickly, I said, "Hey, hun, I'm home," and slammed it fast. I don't know why I lied, but something told me to make it clear I wasn't alone. Am I being dramatic or mean? Or was he actually creepy?
Okay, so he's obviously keeping tabs on her to know that her boyfriend isn't around and doesn't live with her anymore. This is very much a stalker. Very scary. That he also found her on Instagram too.
Like he took her name off her mail.
Okay, but how did he find her house from her Instagram? Like, do you think her full name is on there?
Maybe she uses her real name on her Instagram, yeah.
But how do you find someone's house?
No. He found her on Instagram after delivering mail to her for a while.
Oh.
So like, I seen you on the street. You wore a name tag. I took your name. It's kind of that situation. And then I found you on Instagram. And that's really just creepy. This is a situation wherein a mailman is technically a person of general trust to the public. You expect them to deliver whatever they are meant to deliver to your home as is within their job scope and not engage with you unnecessarily. They're somebody meant to be safe. You know what I mean? Children say hi to mailmen. You know, like people typically, they're expected to take care of your packages. To have somebody destroy public trust in a way wherein they're taking it and making it a private issue and stalking you and creating a relationship outside of bounds is really scary to me. That's frightening to me. Yeah. It's one thing to do your job. It's another to make someone feel unsafe in their own home. And it's really good that she trusted her instincts, that she kept the footage. There is an update. She eventually goes to her landlord and then talks to them about it. And then they, I think, install more security footage cameras. And then later she calls the postman to report it. I think that was out of line and it was right for her to report it.
Really not safe for this person to be delivering mail.
Yeah. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Have you ever dealt with someone who made you feel uneasy in a place where you should feel safe? Have you ever felt like your general public trust has been betrayed by somebody you've never even met before? Hit us up and share your stories.
All right. In this one, we're unpacking a family wedding dilemma. When a bride draws the line on her guest list, is it personal or just practical?
Not another bride. Okay.
Bridezilla.
Let me mentally prepare myself.
I do like Bridezilla stories because it just puts into perspective how crazy people can get.
The emotions are heightened and it makes sense. Yeah. I understand how you got to where you got. I just don't understand.
Still doesn't excuse.
Yeah. Why are you like this anyways? It's like in theory, yes. In practice, no.
Okay. I, 27 male, white, am getting married this summer to my fiance, 29 female, black. We are super excited and honestly planning a wedding as an interracial couple has had its ups and downs. Some family members weren't thrilled at first, but over time, most have come around. Here's the problem. My sister, 25 female, has been dating her boyfriend, who we will call Pete, 30 male, for about a year. Pete has a complicated past. He spent time in prison when he was younger, and during that time got heavily tattooed, including very visible racist tattoos. I'm talking swastikas, white power symbols, etc. Now, to be fair, Pete has openly said he regrets his past. He tried to distance himself from that chapter of his life, and my sister swears he's completely reformed. But here's the thing. He still has all the tattoos. They're on his neck, hands, arms, unavoidable. My fiance has made it clear she would feel extremely uncomfortable having Pete at the wedding, and honestly, so would I. My fiance's family, many of whom I love dearly, would be absolutely horrified to see someone covered in those symbols at what's supposed to be a joyful, welcoming celebration. I pulled my sister aside and explained gently that while I appreciate that Pete has changed, his appearance still carries a lot of pain and meaning. I don't feel comfortable having him there. I invited her, but asked that Pete sits this one out. She flipped out, said I was being unforgiving, that we believe people can change, I shouldn't punish him forever, and that by excluding him, I'm basically just as prejudiced. She told me if Pete isn't invited, she's not coming either. Now my parents are involved, saying I'm blowing this out of proportion and risking a family blow up over something that doesn't mean anything anymore. My fiance says she understands it's complicated, but she's quietly grateful I took this stance. So am I the a-hole for refusing to invite someone with racist tattoos, even though he supposedly left that ideology behind?
Concealer?
Yeah, I feel like
if it's that important for him to be present on the sister side and we don't want this to blow up further, and he has supposedly left the ideology behind, and we're not going to hold his past against him if he's done the time for it, can we put on some medical grade concealer and cover up the mess? If not, I don't know, that's
long
really
sleeves,
scary.
pants,
Turtleneck?
yeah. I feel okay.
Unless he's bald and it's tattooed on his head, wear a wig. Like, do what you have to do.
What I'm slightly getting is based off of OP's tone and saying that, this guy has supposedly changed his views and supposedly changed. I think that he just doesn't really want him at the wedding. And instead of trying to find a middle ground, I don't know. I feel yeah,
It's really hard.
because I feel like there are other steps you can take rather than just uninviting him.
Yeah. There are some commenters who actually offered. So somebody was like, can't he like consider tattoo removal or cover-ups? And OP said he considered it, but he has a lot of tattoos and they're not in the financial position to actually cover or remove them at this point. But now that you mention this, I might discuss having the makeup artist cover his tattoos up with makeup for the day, which I think is a temporary solution, sure, and maybe they should really consider working towards saving up money in a budget to like cover up and or remove some of the more obviously placed tattoos. But I want to bring attention to the fact that these symbols do cause pain for a lot of people, and if it's a community that will be involved in these celebrations, we have to pay respect to that and be cautious about how we approach it. So I think it's right to ask for it to be covered in some capacity. But I do think that if he has left those ideologies behind, this could be distancing him from that growth that he's had by saying, even so, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying OP and his fiance and her family are responsible to welcome him in either, but just this is the joining of two families. And if it's his sister's long-term boyfriend, potentially they'll be getting married. That's more potential family. And so instead of going off on the wrong foot, possibly there are alternatives. There are different initiatives across the US that help cover the hate, and so there are nonprofits that will do the makeup and stuff for you or teach you how to cover it up. So they shared some of those resources, which is really, really cool. You can just Google nonprofits that cover racist tattoos for free in location and then find what you need. But there is an update. Do you want to share?
Hi everyone, thanks so much for all the thoughtful comments and advice on my original post. I really appreciated hearing so many perspectives and it helped me work through this situation more calmly and fairly. After sitting with it for a bit, I decided to have an open, honest conversation with my sister and her boyfriend, Pete. I explained to them again why his tattoos were such a big concern, especially given the context of me marrying my Black fiance with many Black family members and friends attending. I emphasized that it wasn't about punishing Pete or refusing to acknowledge that people can change, but rather about making sure the day felt safe, welcoming, and joyful for everyone present. To my surprise, Pete was incredibly understanding. He acknowledged that even though he's no longer the person who got those tattoos, they still carry real meaning and can cause pain just by being seen. He says he didn't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable on such an important day, and he offered to do whatever he could to help. After some discussion, we all agreed on a compromise. On the wedding day, our makeup artist will cover up as many of his visible tattoos as possible. On top of that, Pete will wear long sleeves and high collars to keep things discreet. My sister was clearly relieved we found a solution that included him without ignoring the valid concerns. My fiance is grateful too. She told me she feels respected and supported by the way this was handled, which honestly means the world to me. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm so glad we were able to come up with an agreement that balances grace, growth, and sensitivity without cutting people out or creating bigger rifts. Thank you again, Reddit, for helping me navigate this. Sometimes just reading different viewpoints really helps clarify what matters most. And a special thank you to everyone who suggested the makeup as a solution and helping us reach out to local tattoo places or charities that might be able to help Pete get his tattoos removed, covered up with his current financial position.
Well,
That is a happy ending.
Yeah, a good resolution. Well, okay. That's a happy note to end on, actually. That's a wrap for this episode. Thank you for watching BOGO in our Almost Expert segment. We really appreciate you tuning in and trusting us to share our perspectives on different stories, even if our advice comes with a giant no credentials disclaimer. Life throws all kinds of curveballs, and sometimes you just need a place to unpack it all, maybe with a little humor and a lot of heart. Don't forget to subscribe, send us your stories or questions, and share the show with anyone who you think could use a little bit of unqualified guidance. We'll catch you next time. So I hope you stay safe and you keep being awesome.